Screen. Perfect. Let me recover my chat and then we should be good to go. All right. Okay. Thank you everybody for joining us today. This is the kickoff of the NC WIDA eLearning Club. We're really excited today about starting this opportunity for all our teachers. And we are going to talk about the different self-paced e-workshops that we offer through WIDA. So this opportunity is brought to you by the NCDPI ESL Title III team. And when you get access to the slide deck, you will be able to navigate our new web pages and learn about the team, what we do, and also access the flyer with all the information about the WIDA e-learning workshops. So our agenda today is really packed. It's exciting because we are going to learn about the Learning Club. What is it? What is it that we're going to do? Then we're going to talk about the different online self-paced workshops and an option that we have this year to document your e-learning journey. So how can you keep track of the progress that you have? And we hope that you can share this opportunity with other teachers and then how they can do the same, continue and collect all those pieces and then show their progress. And then we are going to highlight in the second part of this hour one of the e-workshops. That's what we're going to do every month when we get together. And this time we have the WIDA ELD Standards Framework, a collaborative approach. That's one of the workshops, and we're going to have awesome Ivana Manthrower Anderson from the NCDPI ESL Title III team sharing about this workshop and how we implemented what we learned in the workshop. And now we had created a fantastic opportunity based on that. And she's going to talk about it and how you can also participate on that. And then we're going to get information for our next session. So let me see, before I start, any of you have participated in clubs before? Can you join sharing in the chat? If you have, for example, maybe in high school, you were part of the arts club, the book club. I want to bring all those cool, great memories before we start talking about our e-learning club. So if you can have access to the chat and share if you have joined a club before. And if not, just tell us no, and then we see what we can create out of this club that we are having this year. I see William, thank you. He said nope. Okay. Nima said no. Okay. So maybe it's going to be something really cool. We're going to create our own club and see, ooh, we have the Spanish club, drama club. Ooh, drama. Maybe we can have some cool activities next time. All right. Okay, I guess we are finding. Thank you, Giovanna. It's good to see you, read you. All right. Okay, so what is the e-learning club? We decided at the department, the team, ESL Title III, to create this opportunity because every year we offer the self-paced workshops, and we have some educators that start ourselves. We start the workshop sometimes, and then something happens, life happens. We have many different projects, PD, and then we never finish the workshops. And some of the workshops are really short. It's just 2 hours, 4 hours. There are others that are very long. And we found that when we had the opportunity to collaborate and talk about the workshops, not just working very focused on what we were developing, but just chatting about it in an informal way, it was easier for us to complete some of the workshops. And in fact, with Ivana, we made it kind of like a competition. We started one maybe a year and a half ago, and she finished, and she was super excited when she finished. She printed out her certificate and she hung it on her cubicle, and I was like, oh, I need to do it. I need to finish mine. So it was just that friendship and having that opportunity of talking with somebody else about what we were doing. So we said, let's offer this opportunity to our educators so they have an online session in which they can come and talk about those workshops they are completing. And you will complete your workshops on your own time. because that's how the workshops had been developed. You can complete them on your own time whenever you feel like, okay, the way they're organized, you can start with one module and then you can download the activities, you can implement those activities, or you can just go through all the modules and complete the session without having to integrate anything and add some artifacts in order to complete the workshop. That's the idea, that you implement what you're learning and you use all those handouts and resources, but you don't have to do it. So having this opportunity in the club, coming together and talking about it is going to be something that will help you grow and help that creative thinking and see, what am I doing with this? I learned, now I can use it in my practice, but if, for example, I'm a lead teacher, how can I help other teachers implement that? And maybe I can use it in my PLCs, in my PLTs, or with my colleagues in our meetings. And we said we're going to discuss the content, and it's going to be something to help our professional learning network grow. We're going to start creating that community of practice, that community of educators working for English learners and multilingual learners that have one same goal, and is helping our students. And this knowledge that we're getting, then we can talk about it and see how it really impacts our students' progress and how it can be something meaningful for our teaching practices. So we said this is the perfect activity, and we said every month we're going to get together and we are going to have one DPI representative sharing what they have learned about the modules, because we want to complete the different workshops with you. We want to be part of that. So we said, well, every month, we're going to have a couple of workshops, and we're going to highlight those, and we're going to see how we can implement the different activities. And then all educators that join our sessions, they will have the opportunity to share as well. So we said, okay, we're going to do it every month. We're going to get together. We're going to share. And the first part today, we are going to do all the talking. But the idea is for the next months, we're going to share something during the first 15, 20 minutes of the session. And then we will open for you to talk about the workshop and your ideas of implementation, and maybe just chatting, like, what else do we need? Because WIDA is also grateful and they love that we provide feedback. So if you want to share some feedback once you have finished a workshop, then that's something we can start doing together. And let's see, I'll try to move to the next slide. And this is the schedule. Our schedule, as I said, we have a session every month until June, until the end of the school year. Maybe June, depending on how we have collaborated during the school year, we might have a session that is just to celebrate that we finished those workshops that we decided we wanted to complete. We have 7 workshops, and we're going to see which are those in a few minutes. But then you set your own goals. You decide, I want to complete this specific workshop because I'm interested in this, and this is what maybe impacts my student population the most at this time of the school year. But maybe in January you feel like, okay, I finished that one, that was 2 hours, I want to enroll in another one. And then that's why we want to help you in the club, that you feel like, oh, I can finish another one, I can collaborate and continue growing personally and helping my students. So this is the schedule. Our next session is December the 14th, and we are going to highlight a couple of workshops, and I'm going to show you in the next slide. And you're going to have access to this slide deck, so don't worry about the links. We're going to give you that in a minute. I think we added, if you want Ivana to copy in the chat, if you have access, if not, no worries. Maybe we can share the link to the slide deck, and then they will see the different workshops in the WIDA flyer. Awesome. So we have, I'm going to move. And these are the first 2 workshops that we have, and these are going to be highlighted in December. We're going to talk about the home languages in the classroom, which is a workshop that is 20 hours long. This is the longest we have this year, and we're going to start in December, and we're going to revisit this later in the year to see how we're doing, if it's something we have completed. Maybe some of you getting all these refugees and newcomers, you're really excited about this, and you're like, I really need to finish this. And then maybe by December, you're like, I finished, and this is how I'm planning on implementing implementing this information. Or if we start and we just go through one module, then we share that information as well. And the other one is the engaging multilingual newcomers. This was offered last year. Newcomers, the home languages in the classroom is a new workshop, but the other one, engaging multilingual newcomers, is one that we started offering last year. So some of you might be familiar with this one. Maybe you already finished it. So then that means that next time that we get together in December, most of you will be like, oh, yeah, I use this information. This is what I want to implement, and this is how it worked if you had the chance to use it. But the good thing about these two, and the special thing, is that these are very specific to EL specialists. You're going to share this, and this is for your ESL teachers. And then they can see how that gives them some resources to work and collaborate with the teachers that are teaching your students. So they understand, what about home languages? Why is it important to be aware of this? And also those different strategies to engage multilingual newcomers. And then we have the two other sessions. And these ones are for content area teachers. These are one for math. This is going to be a challenge for me. I don't know about you, Ivana. I know you are super smart and you love math, but not me. So that's going to be one that I'm going to leave maybe at the end. And once I'm done, I'm like, okay, I'll go for the math one. But this one is for, you can share this with your content area teachers, those teachers teaching math, and how they can collaborate with you and help English learners in their classes. And then also one for social studies, engaging multilingual learners through inquiry. So you have these two that you can share. And we always said, if you want to complete this, so you learn and you get the content and then the resources to share, that's great. But if you can invite your content area teachers so they also complete these workshops, it's much better, because that helps you build capacity. And that's how it's not everyone looking for you in the building or in the district. They now have those other areas in which they can go and say, okay, I have this, I learned this content, then I can do something while my EL specialist comes to the building and helps me do something for my students. So these are two that are great. And then we have one, these three are for administrators. We have one new one this year, equity-focused professional learning communities. And we know that most of our districts, you have PLCs and PLTs. So this is something that is created thinking those groups and collaborative groups. So you will have that, and we're excited about that one. I think that's going to be one of those that I'm really interested in working on. And we also have school improvement planning for multilingual learners and leading for equity classroom walkthrough. So if you are a lead teacher, this might give you a really good idea of how you can support your content area teachers and ESL teachers. If you are in a charter school and you are an administrator, or if you are an administrator, you're a principal, you are at the central office level, then you learn this, and then you can advocate for this student population and these teachers in your meetings at the school district level. And let me see, I don't see any questions in the chat. And we might please add any questions if you have any questions. If I'm going too fast, I know I want to share because I want Ivana to share and highlight the first workshop this year. So I have just 15 more minutes. So she has her full time to share about that option and what we have been doing in North Carolina. Because we hope that we invited our friends from other states that have access to these workshops, and we hope that they can join. And if they have access to the workshops, then they can go through the process, they can learn, and then we all can collaborate. So that's fantastic, and we hope that they join, or if they watch the recording, they come to the live sessions and they participate. So this is the way to access the e-workshops. Maybe you all know this, but maybe when you go to your district, you can use this slide. You can have the slide and say, hey, this is the way we can access. If you have an account for the WIDA Secure Portal, then you're going to need your username and password, and then you're going to be able to access the professional learning platform. And the way, and we have, if you visited our document for the the WIDA workshops for educators in North Carolina, we have the directions. If you already have a WIDA account, then you just need to go to the login and visit professional learning and sign up or enroll in one of the workshops. But if you do not have an account, or if you're inviting a content area teacher and they don't have an account, then you can follow those directions in order to get one of those accounts, which would be specifically for the professional learning section. We know that when we are EL specialists, we get access to testing, to the different trainings, screeners, and also the professional learning. But those that you are inviting from your district will have access only to the professional learning section. So I don't see any questions. Okay. And then we have, this is something cool that we want to share this year. When we started this, we had some stickers. And then this year we created these. We call it the stickers collection, and it's sort of a card, your e-learning club card. And it's the way to highlight your progress. This is how you're going to show others, like, this is what I'm doing. And let me see if I can open, because maybe the sample is too small, or I can just read it. But I added a sample for you, and we have on the first column, the idea is for you to set your goals. What are your expectations? So what I said personally, and I know Ivana is going to hold me accountable in February, and that's the idea of the club, that we say, hey, this is my goal, and then how we can help you reach that goal. And what I said is, by the meetup in February, I will finish 3 workshops: newcomers, ELD standards, and classroom walkthrough. And I'll share at least 2 ideas of how I could integrate the handouts and resources into my practice. So that's my goal. We'll see. I started, and I'm on my way to finishing my first workshop this year. Because so if you have completed before the workshops, you know that every year in September, the platform resets, and then the dashboard is blank. It's like you never took a course. So if you want to enroll, because WIDA, sometimes they make some changes and updates to the workshops. So if you log in again, then you will have access to that and those new versions of the courses. And then by the end, you're going to have your certificate when you complete the different workshops. That's something important, because I know we always need to collect our contact hours to submit to the districts for license renewal. So each of these workshops will give you those certificates that you can present in your school districts. So once you complete it, then there is a survey. And once you finish the survey, you submit it, you will receive your certificate. And as I mentioned, Ivana, when she completed one of the workshops last year, she printed out and she was like, I finished, I won. So she beat me on that one. She finished that one. So you will have that information. You will be able to print it out, and it's something that you get in your email, and you can also download from the WIDA dashboard. And then we have another column in our document for collecting our progress, and it's those links that you receive maybe from these sessions. When people start chatting a little more and sharing, then you will have access to those different resources. And if we want to highlight something that we saw, I already have a document with the workshop. I started the one with newcomers, and they share so many good resources, and I have those links. So most likely I'm going to add those links to my passport or collector, and then I'll have them. And then we're going to have some stickers for you to be able to celebrate and show, I finished a workshop, I started a workshop, and we're creating more. And we currently, if we click, I think I can go without, we have 2, 4, 5 stickers at this time. And I started one workshop, I completed one, I contributed in the chat during the session, I participated in a live session, and I share ideas. And we are creating more. If you have ideas for stickers, please just put them in the chat, and we are going to create those stickers to keep us on track of that. It's like we have called them motivational stickers because it's a way of gamifying our progress and showing this is what we're doing and just showing off. So yeah, Stacy won one. We're going to make you one. Once you have access, I think we share in the chat. If not, let me try to copy the link very quickly. I think Super Ivana did it. And I'm just adding the bit.ly link. And then you can go to that slide, you make a copy of your card, you put your name, and then you start adding your different stickers. So you will see as we create the stickers, we're going to upload the stickers to this folder. So don't lose this slide deck because this is the way you're going to access your stickers. So we're going to see that. And if you start a workshop, just come download the image and put it on your chart. And when you click, you're going to see it's going to ask you to make a copy. You just click make a copy. And then you are going to write your name. So I'm going to just say at least talks just for this sample. And the first one is where you can add your information and your picture. Then you have another one if you are one of those overachievers and you get all the stickers. That's Ivana for sure. I'm sure she's going to complete more than one page. And by making the copy, then this file is yours. So you can edit it as you want. You can duplicate slide number 2 as many times as you want. And if you want to get rid of slide 3, my sample, just go for it. But just that was just to show you how it might look as you start adding your stickers. So any questions in the chat? I don't think I see anything. Okay, no questions. All right. I have 7 minutes, Ivana. I'm excited about what Ivana is sharing. So, yeah, okay. So before we start, let's see. Any questions? Anybody wants to mute? Since we have these last 3 minutes before Ivana can share about the workshop. No questions? I know we are tired.
So before we come to the December meeting, so we are supposed to do those 2 modules. That is what you're saying?
That's a great question. You can choose. I'm sorry, I'm going to move the slides fast to go back. So we have those 2. You can work on one of those because we are going to highlight those. But if there is another workshop that you feel is more impactful at this time in your classroom, just start that one. And then when you come to the session, share about it. But if you start one of these 2, just be ready to share like, hey, I started, I love this. I know I'm going to start the home languages in the classroom because when I read it's 20 hours, I'm like, ooh, I need to start this right now so I can work on it. So be ready. We have those that we want to highlight, but if you want to complete another one, just go for it. And then
so say okay, sorry. So I say I do the one with engaging multilingual newcomers, but the other one is like 20 hours. So that could be a little ongoing. I may not finish it in 1 month. So that is it is allowed, right? I can, okay.
Yes, perfect.
Thank
Yes.
you.
We're going to revisit in the schedule. That one is for, I think, April.
Oh, okay.
So I just put the link in the chat for the schedule.
And let me see what Ivana shared.
May 10th is the second one for home languages in the classroom.
Yeah, thank you, Ivana.
You want to pull up that document?
Sure, let me get the link.
It's in the chat if you can get to that.
Okay, Chica, thank you. Let me see. Oop, okay, I think, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So let me just enlarge this a little bit so you can see. So I will invite you to go and read the different descriptions and sign up for the one that really talks to you, like speaks to you. It's like, I want to complete that one, and go for it. If you feel like it's one of these that we're going to highlight in December, perfect. Because then you can help us with the initial activity during that session and share more. But if it's up completely up to you. And I will recommend that you invite more teachers so they can start working on their workshops as well. And then you have more friends to talk about it. And it's not just waiting every month for the club to get together and work on those. I'll be quiet. Any other questions? I see in the chat, I'm excited to be in a club. Yeah, we're the cool kids now. With our stickers and everything. I love this idea. I have started so many sessions and never finished. Yes, that's how I feel exactly. And I, as I said, I love when Ivana kind of like she motivated me, like, hey, I'm doing this too, and I'm finishing. And I was like, oh, I need to finish. And then we talk about what can we do with this, and it was really neat to have that support. Okay, and as we said, invite other educators to join. And if you have questions, please just reach out and say, hey, I don't know how to log in. I talk to the first thing, if you go to the directions, and I'm going to scroll up a little bit, sorry. Here it says, on the same document, if you have a secure portal account, this is what you need to do, and it has a screenshot. But it also says if you do not, this is what you need to do. So you have all that information there to help other educators in your building complete those workshops. So the workshops, I see a question. Is there a start or a due date or finish by date? The workshops are open for educators until August 31st. But because of that is that we sometimes forget and we're like, oh, I'll have time, I'll finish them later. And that's why we want to have some workshops highlighted every month, because then you feel like, okay, if December they're going to highlight multilingual newcomers, which is 2 hours, I'll try to finish by that session in December. So that is what is giving you those sort of deadlines or due dates, but it's completely up to you. And as I said, the one that is long, that is 20 hours, then that's going to be something ongoing. And we hope that by the summer we complete. Yes, Chica.
So if I plan on doing a workshop, let's say in December, I wanted to do classroom teachers engaging multilingual newcomers, but I didn't finish it. Can I still come?
Sure. Yes. Why? Because if you couldn't finish, still you're going to have the opportunity to meet with others who have finished and they might have implemented these workshops, and that will give you some ideas. Or if they haven't finished either, then it still is like, how can we motivate each other to complete the workshop? So yes, please.
And if I miss a session, will it be recorded so I can go back and look at it?
Yes, we are going to record all the sessions. I think I did it right for this one. I hope so. But yes, we're going to have the recordings, we're going to share, and you're going to have the links so you can go back to the sticker folder, to everything, and access the workshops and everything that you need.
So there's a joining link per month. So that link will take us to both the sessions.
Yes, correct.
And then in November, December recap workshop started in, okay, so that's a different link. Okay, got it.
All right, so if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to introduce awesome Ivana Manthrower Anderson. I'm super excited about the workshop that she is highlighted and the opportunity that we created based on this workshop. So I turn it back to you, Super Ivana.
All right. So I'm really curious if you put in the chat box, how many of you have actually already done the WIDA ELD standards framework, a collaborative approach? So I did it because I was helping put together the coffee chats and I really enjoyed it. And you said WIDA likes feedback. I actually found a typo and they fixed it. It was pretty cool. So has anyone done the module already, the ELD standards framework, a collaborative approach? Let's see. Yes, I've got some yeses. Hi, Jesse. Good to see you. Or type you halfway through. Perfect, Sally. Great. Not yet. Hadn't started. I like the yet though. You didn't just say no. Attended the sessions with WIDA. Great. Awesome. So some of you have seen them and some of them haven't. So last year, I guess it was last summer, there was a little bit of this e-workshop club kind of practicing encouragement going on. And that's part of what got us started with the ELD coffee chats. So we are in what's called the installation phase with the ELD standards, the WIDA 2020 standards. And we said, you know, what can we do in the way of professional learning to kind of plant the seeds and get people excited about the new standards that we'll be implementing next year? So I said, well, let's use what's already here, right? We've already have an opportunity for all of our educators to have access to the ELD standards framework. And so what a great idea. You guys can check and make sure you're muted, or Zatley, if you can mute. Thanks. So, you know, take what's already there with WIDA. Take this introduction about collaboration and work through it. And so Lanny Simpson is the cute person behind the little coffee cup, and she is one of our EL support team members that helped us put this together. Lanny is sort of our brainchild. And Lanny said, you know, I've been through the modules, but I just need somebody to talk to. And so part of her process in helping put this together was actually her learning process as well, because we're all learning together. So what I love about this particular program is it's 4 hours, but that it's all about collaborating. It's all about using our ELD standards to understand how to work better with each other and with our content partners, because we know that our students are with the content teachers so much of the day. And so really learning how to use this new version of the standards for that purpose. So we've called this a companion to the WIDA ELD standards, a collaborative approach. And the idea is you do the module, and then you come to the session to talk about it. The modules are put together so that if you didn't get to do the module first, you'll get something out of it, but you won't really be able to participate as fully. And so if you've been to any of our sessions, we've done 3 so far, we're going to highlight a little bit of what we've done in those sessions. So if you want to go to the next slide, each of the modules in WIDA go through the materials. Have any of you seen the book or downloaded it from the website? It's about a 400-page book that goes through the entire standards framework from WIDA. And so what these modules do is they introduce you to the most important pieces of the standards framework. So it's a great way to get your feet wet, a great way to jump in with it not being so overwhelming. So the beginning of each of our sessions starts with pulling things directly from the module. So you can see in module 1, there's a real introduction talking about the components that the framework is built upon, which are equity, integration, collaboration, and the functional approach. And so there was some time spent talking about these things, and then an opportunity for participants to do a Jamboard and to talk about, where do I already do great? Where am I already glowing? And where might I need to grow? So it's a wonderful way to just break it down into smaller pieces. And then we move into an activity, or on the next slide, for this first opportunity to dig into the modules, we decided to talk about North Carolina specifically. So as we're learning about the standards, as we're learning about the changes from the 2012 to the 2020 edition, how do we get the word out? Because there are some people out there, I know we've got some districts, some of you on here even, who are already using the new ELD standards. You're already doing great things with them, incorporating them into your lesson planning. And there are others that are like, the new what? And so we really said, you know, how can we get the word out? How can we help teachers understand? How can we make sure that our district and school administrators are on board and realize that there's a difference now? What about our professional learning providers, and especially our students, our families, and our communities? So we had a wonderful time on the next slide working together within this group to put together a Padlet, looking at each of the different stakeholder groups and exploring, as we learn more about these standards, what can we do? How can we help get the word out? And so you can see the Padlet link is there. You have access to it. You can add to the Padlet, but you can see different ideas that people have added to the Padlet of what they might do. So one of them, for other ESL teachers, they said, I can plan with my team. I can focus on the framework and really integrate it into lesson planning and units. And then we can actually share with each other. And so it's a wonderful way to go through the module on your own, then to come together and talk about it. You can even go back through the module if you want to make sure you have an understanding of this small piece of the WIDA standards. We also put an example of what we did in our last session. And I'm checking the chat to see if anybody has questions as I go, because I don't want to go too fast. So Module 2 went a little bit deeper. Module 2 talked about Standard 1, which is looking at the language of instruction and the social language. So it really dug into how do you use that and how do we make sure that's incorporated into all of the other standards. Module 3 dug into the 4 key language uses, which are so important and a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. And so we spent some time. This slide actually had animation, and it took us a little while. And we talked about narrate, inform, explain, and argue, these different genres, and how do they work. And we had time to talk about each of them. How do we see this in language? How do our students work with each of these different items? So on the next slide, we then went into a really cool activity where we asked you to take the knowledge that you learned in the module, the knowledge that you reviewed as we were working together in this coffee chat, and to have a unit that you're actually working with, something you're actually teaching, and think about it in very specific ways. So what is your topic? What were your learning activities? And then what key language uses did your students actually practice? And so between the first slide I showed you and this one, we had really interesting graphs that showed how the different key language uses appear at different grade levels and in different content. So now you get to apply it. And I thought it was really cool what Lanny did is she taught us some new technology. She showed us how to use Google Drawing, which was new for a lot of our participants, so that you could actually demonstrate what you've learned in a variety of different modalities. You could write about it, but you could also use pictorial representations. So if you go to the next slide, and that may have been a little, amorphous for some people. So she broke it down and made it more specific. If you were writing, you shared your unit topic, you described your activity, and then you made sure to talk about what were the key language uses that the students were going to use. And you can connect that to your language objectives in the key language uses if you want to make it super amazing. Then if you wanted to use images, you could use the Google Drawing. You could use ways to integrate how the different grade level activities were linked. And she also showed us how to do voice recordings so that we could actually talk about what we wanted to do. So no matter what your learning style, no matter what your language ability would be, if you were using this with your students in a classroom, you had different modalities to show what you could do to be expressive. So this was done on a Padlet. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see that people chose to come at this in very different ways. So we had some people that explained in writing what they did and shared what the key language use was. We had others with the headphones that you can see that did some sort of verbal where they shared by talking about it. And then you'll see others with pictures where they've used a pictorial representation to share. So it was a really wonderful opportunity to sort of model the model, because WIDA wants us to be sure that when we are expressive, that we're also including things such as pictorial representations. So if any of you were there, I would love for you to type in the chat or unmute yourself and tell us what you think about what we've shared so far. Anybody wants to jump in? And that includes Zatley and Stacy, if you want to say something. Yes, I see that Zatley just put the link in the chat for the Padlet. So these Padlets that we use in these different sessions are available. There are different hyperlinks that are shared in each of the sessions that are available, and the recordings for all of these are available. We'll show you that in just a second. Not getting any takers, huh? Any questions? All right. You want to go on to the next slide then?
Okay, you had some comments in the chat. It has been very engaging and has really helped me process the standards at a deeper level. And Stacy said, you covered it beautifully, just listening.
Did that just go to you? I don't see that one. Anyway, I'm glad. Oh, there it is. Great. I'm glad that it's been engaging. And what's really interesting too is when we do things like that that are kind of open source, we get visitors that join us because we don't restrict who can register. And I sit on the WIDA standards subcommittee. And so some of the people that are at WIDA and some of the people from other states that are on the subcommittee have been joining us. And we've gotten really good feedback from them as well, that they find it something interesting that they may even want to replicate in their own states. So that always makes us feel good when we know that others are interested and are finding good use, because again, it's kind of planting a seed. It's a beginning. It's to get our feet wet in a way that's not overwhelming, in a way that helps us see where some of the differences are, because we're working on documents to help go more deeply into the standards. But this is a great way to get involved. So on the next slide, you have the opportunity to join us November 15th and 29th and December 6th from 4:30 to 5:30 for the last 3 coffee chats. And again, we want you to do the module before you join us, but you don't have to. We'd love for you to come anyway. So the registration link is there. When you go to register, there's a little box at the top where you can click register for all, and it will register you for all 3. Each session has a different link, but you will get reminders as well as a confirmation email. You also have the opportunity to look at the archives. So if you haven't had a chance to join us and you want to see what we talked about, the archives are located in our ELD Standards Hub. And our Standards Hub is something we are very excited about. It's a place where you can see the North Carolinaized version of the ELD standards. Our glossary has already been released. And then you will see that there are other boxes before you get to the one where the arrow is, where documents are coming with, oops, with the crosswalk, with, let me look on my screen, it's so little, with mapping, and the crosswalk, and the unpacking, and the parent and caregiver materials as well. So Zatley is going to show you the actual hub, which we're very, very excited about. Zatley is our mastermind behind the hub. Some more cute sticker looking things. And so the top 3 buttons are live, populated with information. The middle 3 and the first one on the bottom, we are in the process of. And then the ELD standards-based resources, if you want to click on that one, that is where you will find the archives. And at the top of the screen there, oops, sorry, before you scroll, you'll see that there's an update every month. I'm sorry. There's an update every month about our progress with the standards. So feel free to read those. And then now scroll down. Thanks. You have the information about the coffee chats, showing you each of the days, showing you what our purpose is in the coffee chats, and then also the registration link, as well as below that, the archives. So we are very excited about this first professional development offering that we've been able to bring you in collaboration with what WIDA has already provided for us. And I've heard some good feedback, so thank you for those that also shared some feedback. So any questions, any thoughts about the hub, about the coffee chats, about the ELD standards, about this wonderful opportunity to do this e-learning club now that we're the cool kids? It's a lot of information tonight.
Any questions? Thank you, Jessie. Yes, she says, I love the hub and having everything in one place.
Yes. That can be one of our stickers. I used the hub.
And Giovanna, she says, can people who are not here today still join? Yes, please share the link so they can have access to this first slide deck, and then they can join for next session.
And I think, like you said, Zatley, it's important that this one we've kind of been talking at you and to you. And part of that is just setting it all up. And then the fact that the coffee chats already have 6 sessions where you get to do that kind of interaction. So if you've been to a coffee chat, that's similar to what it will be like when you come to these sessions in the future, that you will have learned something and then you have the opportunity to dialogue with each other and explore further on that. So this session is just a little bit different tonight. But just know that we're here to hear your voice and to explore with you, because as I said, some of these things we're learning right along with you.
Yes, yes, that's true. And something to highlight, we're going to have during the different sessions some of our lead teachers joining, teachers from the Teacher Network. So they're going to share as well what they're doing with the workshops, how they feel about it, what resources they think they can incorporate. And maybe if they have already adapted something, then they are going to share that. So we're really excited about the sessions. And if you want to lead one of the sessions, if you want to share one of the activities that we are planning on having, just let us know and we are going to be able to offer that to you, because again, it's hopefully it's not us doing all the talking, it's you, and hopefully we have this platform working so we can share our video cameras, we can unmute, we can use the chat, and we also have breakout rooms so we can all collaborate, and it's not just us giving you lots of resources and ideas, but it's how we build this community together. Monica asks if these sessions are being recorded. Yes, we are going to share the recording and the slide deck, so you will have access to all the links. And I'm going to put in the chat also the flyer with all the different workshops. So if you want to go tonight and check and see, okay, let me see which is the workshop I want to start, then you can have that as well.
This is really exciting, and I love what you've done with the passport and the graphics and organizing it, in the schedule and everything. So please share with others and invite them to join us.
Okay, I don't see any questions. I think I'm going to stop the recording and we can stay the next minutes just in case we get any questions. So let me stop my recording. I think I need to stop sharing. I'll go back to sharing. Okay, stop.